Hello everyone, Sorry here, and today we are gonna do something different. We're gonna do power rankings. Power rankings is basically an article I write maybe twice a month, maybe once a month, where I rate the top decks for ladder climb. This is based on my own experience on playing ladder, and kind of taking the meta into consideration, obviously. We will look at all the best 8 decks in my experience to climb ladder, and we will talk on each one of them a little bit briefly why I decided this deck is the best. Let me raise the camera. Go. All right. The rank 1 deck, which everyone probably deduced it's gonna be the rank 1. It's Kaisa Demacia. Kaisa Demacia has been a menace on ladder. It's a really good deck for a ladder climb. It can overpower most of the decks in the meta. Now Riot has fixed the sharp side bug, so the deck is a bit tuned down, but it's still really strong. I personally was playing Silver Kaisa, not the Mono Kaisa. I was playing Silver Kaisa, and I got from Diamond 3 to Masters pretty easily. I think I did it on the same day, basically, from Diamond 3 to Masters pretty easily, and I wasn't abusing the sharp side bug. So the sharp side bug doesn't affect me too much. Obviously, there are scenarios where you're forced to play the sharp side before the Kaisa evolve, so you're gonna abuse it indirectly. But in a lot of scenarios where I could play sharp side to evolve Kaisa, I wasn't doing that. So the bug doesn't affect too much the deck. The deck is still really strong even without the bug. It beats Elaibardo as well, so that's also very important. It beats Elaibardo and it beats Chambord. So both popular decks are beaten by Kaisa Demacia. It does though loses to Aggro. I haven't seen a bit of Aggro yesterday. I was playing ladder. I saw a bit of more Aggro, but I think the silver version does a bit better into Aggro. I feel like, because I was looking at the stats, the silver does a little bit better. Even though there is not really difference in the list, but you do have silver as a blocker, maybe as an attacker. It can be kind of good into Aggro. But yeah, rank 1 obviously Kaisa Demacia. So going into the second deck, Chambord. Now Chambord is the newest Bard deck out there. It has been putting numbers. It's doing well. It has a good win rate. It only really struggles against Kaisa, because when Kaisa attacks, the barriers are kind of useless because of her ability. She will ping down the barrier, so it's very hard to deal with Kaisa. I've noticed the only way I can beat Kaisa is basically elusive. You have to set up elusives, or at least maybe set up an attack with your Green Glade Caretaker. Give her a buff. Buff her up with the barriers, and then you can switch her with the Tailstone. You can create a Shen spell and switch her and push damage directly to the Nexus. I feel like that's the ideal way to win a Kaisa. So you have to be cheesy. You cannot win board. I don't think you can win the board presence against Kaisa unless they low roll and don't have Kaisa early on. Third deck, Elaibardo, obviously. Elaibardo has been doing really great, and right now it's probably even better because Kaisa got slight tiny nerf with the bug removal. Elaibardo is very strong, especially with the chimes. Like, imagine you hit a chime on your the Seas of Voice, right? It's a 4/4, very difficult to remove. Gives overwhelm to your units, to your tentacles, pushes early damage. How do you beat Elaibardo? I think Kaisa still kind of tiny bit beats it. It's still okay. Chambord is good into it. Aggro is not good into it. Although, like, looking at the deck, you'd think Aggro is actually good, but it's not good into it apparently. When I was playing Kaisa, Illahi, I think the way I was beating Aggro is because of Blood and Water. Obviously the tentacles and the birdie are great blockers, but like imagine you have an Illahi on the board. You attack with her, your opponent will not be able to remove her most likely unless they want to commit a fervor, which isn't really ideal for them. You attack with the Illahi, you set up a rally. She already has a lot of damage on her. She gains more damage, and the game is kind of over. Like, they can't really do much into that. Yeah, the deck is really strong. One of the top tier decks right now. I do recommend it for ladder climb. There are different lists now. I think this is the most ideal list right now. There are people running the stun card. I forgot what's it called. The 5 mana stun unit and deal 2 damage. It's also good, but I don't think it's very needed right now. I think this is fine. You can add a one-off, but that's pretty much it. Let's look at rank 4, which is kind of controversial, I think, but it is Draven Scion. Why Draven Scion? Now Draven Scion, oh, we are not running. Okay, I need to edit the list. I'm gonna edit the list before I publish it. We're not running survival skills in this. I think survival skills is very important. I'm gonna add maybe 1 survival skill. I'll probably cut 1 Poro Cannon for it. Maybe a 2nd survival skill. Cut a Legion Saboteur. I don't know why we're running Legion Saboteur, two of them. I took the list randomly. I will edit it later. This article is still not published. It's still low-key in the edit mode, so we're taking a first look before it gets published. So there are gonna be some edits later on. Why Draven Scion is good? Draven Scion is an aggressive deck. It's good into Kaisa. Kaisa actually struggles against survival skills, because if you put survival skills on a unit, they can't really do much into it. They can't kill it, and it can kill the unit with a quick attack, right? So it's good. It's a good card. Keeps your unit alive. Also, you can be very aggressive. Obviously, push some damage early on with a Fallen Rider, with a not Trudger, with the Boom Baboon and the Urchin. Also, Reborn Grenadier. Pushes early damage. You also have a bird plan. Get excited. I might actually cut 1 get excited, or 1 fervor. 100% 1 fervor. I'm gonna cut 1 fervor. I'm not sure if I'll keep the Legion Saboteur. This is a weird list. I'm gonna tweak with it later. I'll make it better. But yeah, basically aggressiveness, end the game fast, and you have Scion. Once you hit Scion on the board, it's very hard for them to deal with it. I don't think you should block with Scion and get him killed though, unless they tap out of mana, because if you do that, they could, for example, play Concerted Strike. If they tap below Concerted Strike, you can do that. If they still have Concerted Strike mana, I do not advise you block and kill your Scion, because you want Scion to push overwhelm damage. Is very important. Decimate, Get Excited, great tools to burn. Mystic Shot, great tools to burn. Very hard to answer for most decks in the meta. And the nice thing about Draven Scion is it actually beats aggro. It beats any gem. It beats Gwen, Noxus, Elise. Also beats that. So it's actually a good deck. It's kind of a hidden gem, I think. There are people running Vi. I was looking at the list before. I noticed the Vi version is actually not performing as good as this. So I think you want to be more hyper aggressive in these kind of decks. Vi is a bit slow, 5 mana. Doesn't do much until she levels. It does kill stuff, but that's not your goal. You don't want to like remove stuff off the board. Your goal is just to go face with this deck. But yeah, I might tweak with the list. I do want to add at least 1 survival skill, at least. But yeah, this is the list. Let's look at number 5. Gwen Elise Noxus. Why Gwen Elise Noxus? Aggressive deck. Ends the game pretty fast, beats Kaisa, struggles into Illahi, beats Shen. I think it beats Shen, I'm pretty sure. Beats Shen. Wait, I probably wrote, let me check. I feel like I wrote that it beats Shen. Oh, it has almost even matchup against any Twisted Fate and Barchan. So it can beat them, but it's not gonna like auto lose to them. It does well. And those decks are popular. Those 2 decks are very popular on the ladder. But yeah, it's a very high rolly deck, can end the game pretty fast, and you have the burn plan. Usually you want to like set up fearsomes on your board, and the Skitterer can lower the damage, the power of your opponent's units, so you can squeeze in more damage. It's very strong attack, and you have the hallowed keyword to use for your advantage. You can push extra damage if you position your units correctly. Okay, number 6, Anijan. Obviously another aggro deck. Same reason, it beats Kaisa. This one I think does well into Barchan because it has burn capabilities. It does lose to Illahi though, so that's a problem. I ranked Gwen Noxus higher than this because I think when Elise Noxus has a more high rolly aspect of it. Especially like, let's say you play where is it? Let's say you play two onlookers on the board. You have two 4/1s ready to swing, so that's very strong in itself. Very hard to deal with for your opponent, and you have Stalking Shadows to look for that, right? So it can be very aggressive. Like it can close out the game pretty early if you can set up that play, and then you switch to the burn plan. Anijan, we agreed, it's a aggro deck, good into most of the meta. It beats Azir Aurelia as well. Beats Chambord, beats Kaisa Demacia. It does struggle against Bard Illahi, and it struggles against stuff like Annie Gwen, the Raven Bloom deck, which has Go Hard, Valfis. It has a lot of stuff for survivability and keeps it on the board. That's very difficult to beat, but it's really not popular on ladder that much, so you'll most likely not see it on ladder. Number 7, Katarina Twisted Fate. Now this is the newest version of Annie Twisted Fate. This one is running Katarina for 2 reasons. The problem with Annie, she's a good card. She's still a good card, and the only problem with her is that she dies pretty easily to challenger units. And with Kaisa being popular, you could challenge her with Broadwing or with Valor, although Valor is kind of easy to kill, but you could do that. It also, Katarina is better because of Tentacle Smash. When you're playing against Elaibardo, they play Tentacle Smash on your Annie. They kill your Annie, and now they have a 3/3 on the board that's not damaged, still healthy, so you can't really kill it unless you commit 2 cards on it. So you're kind of losing value. They played 3 cards to kill 1 card, so it's not very optimal for you, right? Whereas Katarina, now if they do want to Tentacle Smash the Katarina, the tentacle dies basically, so it's not very ideal. Also, Katarina is not bad late game. If she levels up, you're always creating Blade's Edge, and if you have tie bulk on the board, now it's 2 damage. If you have 2 tie bulks, it's 3 damage, so it's not a bad card later on in the game. What does Elaibardo lose to? And Katarina Twisted Fate. It loses to Fizz Ribbon. It does lose. It loses hard to Fizz Ribbon. It's insane. The second they drop Fizz, game's over. Do we see Fizz Ribbon on the ladder? Not really. So you don't really have to worry about that. Kaisa and Illahi are kind of even matchups a little bit. I think it's very skill intensive. Although the stats say that those 2 decks are favored into Katarina at Twisted Fate, I don't personally think so. I think skill-wise, it's very important to have an edge in this matchup. Also, the sharp side bug is not existed anymore. Usually, Kaisa could be very aggressive into you. Now we don't have to worry about that. Spell shields are a bit annoying, but you can deal with that. Yeah, that's pretty much the deck. It also is not bad into aggro. It holds its ground into aggro, can beat them. So it's a good deck. It's an evenish deck into most of the meta. It's an okay deck, and if you're good at piloting it, you get more value out of it. Oh, also, I'm running Cooling Strike. One of some people are running more. I saw some people running 3 Cooling Strikes. Why Cooling Strike? So it depends on the chimes. Sometimes heavily depends on the chimes. But let's say your opponent plays Shen and you play Cooling Strike. Well, they don't run. Most of them don't run Twin Disciplines or anything. So that's that Shen, unless they play Optify. So that's a dead Chen. Let's say they play Illahi early on and she's not buffed. Like Illahi needs 3 chimes on her just to like not die from Cooling Strike, which is kind of hard to have 3 chimes early on in the game. So you kind of catch them off guard. I think in a tournament it wouldn't be great, but on ladder and people not scouting you and stuff, Cooling Strike is actually not bad. You could add more, but right now I was just testing with one and I got value out of it. You can kill, if you kill Illahi with a Cooling Strike, you're very happy because usually you commit 2 spells to kill Illahi, but with Cooling Strike you only need 1. So it's a nice card to add to the deck. So let's see the last and final deck. Nami Twisted Fate SI. Now we don't see this a lot on ladder anymore. It kind of fell off. It was popular last season, was one of the top decks, kinda. I mean, at least in tournaments. I think the deck is very skill intensive. It's difficult to pilot fully to its best, but I think if you master the deck, you can get way much value out of it. It beats it. I think it has even matchups into Bard, Illahi, and Kaisa. It's kind of evenish. It beats Aggro, farms Aggro 100%. According to the stats, it beats Katarina Twisted Fate or any Twisted Fate. Although I don't personally believe that, because I usually kind of beat them. But I do struggle against those matchups once they drop what's it called, Harrowing. If they drop Harrowing, you kind of lose. You cannot beat that. So we're running 1 Harrowing in the deck. But yeah, this deck is very strong still. It's kind of low-key on not being played right now. I think because it's kind of difficult to get value out of it if you haven't mastered the deck. But yeah, it is one of the top tier decks in the meta right now. But yeah, this is pretty much all best 8 decks in my opinion to climb ladder. I was seeing Bard Zed and it was performing well. I saw a couple of people climbing high on ladder, so Bard Zed is also maybe an option. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I will add a link to the article in the description, so if you want to read the article, look it up, everything you want to do, it's in the description. If you want the deck codes, in the description, in the article. I won't add the deck codes, each one of them, it's a lot of work. I'll just add them in the article. You have them in the article, you can just copy them if you want. I'll tweak a couple of lists before the article goes live. I'll make sure they're all the best they can. And yeah, that's basically it. If you like this kind of content, let me know. Maybe I'll do more of them. I do like doing them. I like just basically just talking, not playing. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye.